The longest, strangest, and most memed anomaly in football has finally come to an end. We, of course, are talking about Harry Kane's infamous trophy curse. For over a decade, the 31-year-old has been one of the finest goal scorers of his generation, honing his craft to near perfection. He is the all-time highest goal scorer for both Tottenham and England, surpassing Wayne Rooney for the latter by a notable 18 goals. But beneath the numbers lies the full depth of his greatness. He's not just a classic number 9, he's also a creative number 10, blending footballing intelligence, vision, artistry, skill, and, of course, impeccable precision into a single extraordinary player. Yet, despite all that, Kane has remained trophyless. That was until last weekend, ending Kane's status as football's greatest player to have never won a trophy. It has been a fascinating journey of redemption and sheer will to reach this moment. As far as accolades go, you could argue that Kane has achieved quite a few things. After all, they don't just hand out the World Cup Golden Boot, for example, which he won for his 6 goals in Russia in 2018. He has also claimed the Premier League Golden Boot 3 times and earned the European Golden Shoe after finishing as the Bundesliga top scorer in his first season at Bayern. Not to mention the numerous Player of the Month and Season awards he has received. But despite these individual honors, none of his teams had previously won a major competition while he has been there. You could put that down to Kane spending his first 14 years of his career either out on loan or at Tottenham, an aspirational rather than elite club, and certainly not one that challenges for the biggest trophies every year. That's not to say Kane hasn't put in the effort and come close, both with Spurs and the England national team. However, he has never influenced a final in the same way he consistently decides games every week, prompting critics to suggest he lacks that critical edge in the biggest of games. He first had that 2015 Carabao Cup final during his breakout season, where he scored 31 goals in 51 appearances on his way to being crowned the PFA Young Player of the Year. Unfortunately, that final may have come too early for Mauricio Pochettino's young Spurs side, as it was a more experienced Chelsea side that emerged victorious. Kane then followed up that impressive campaign by winning the Premier League Golden Boot in each of the next 2 seasons, leading Spurs to their highest ever finishes, 3rd and 2nd, the latter with a club records points haul of 86 since the league's founding in 1992. By this point, Spurs had become renowned for their young, dynamic squad, who played a fast and attractive style of football, and Kane was the face of it all. When he signed an eye-watering 6-year contract in 2018, it came with the expectation that the club would raise their ambition by strengthening in the transfer window to finally start winning trophies. The one missing element to adorn Pochettino's side, which had consistently outperformed expectations and evolved from outsiders to serious contenders. But what didn't help Kane's pursuit of trophies was Tottenham going 18 months without making a single signing, which effectively stalled Pochettino's project, even as they defied the odds to reach their first ever Champions League final. In that 2019 final, Kane had returned from a 2-month ankle injury layoff but struggled to make an impact, as Liverpool secured a 2-0 victory. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. Kane had become a global superstar but found himself a victim of Tottenham's sporting malpractices, which likely pushed chairman Daniel Levy to fire Pochettino to bring in Jose Mourinho, whom he cited as one of the best managers in the world. But while Mourinho is undeniably one of football's all-time greats, he was already on the decline when he took the Spurs job in 2019, and it seemed that Levy's long-held ambition to bring in the Portuguese manager, dating back to 2007, had clouded his judgment. The upside of that appointment was that it allowed Kane to fully tap into his playmaking abilities, as Mourinho frequently encouraged him to drop deep and distribute the ball. This culminated in the Englishman becoming the first player in Premier League history to top the charts for both goals and assists in the 2020-21 season. During that season, his team made it to the 2021 Carabao Cup final, which he returned just in time for after recovering from an ankle injury, only to see Manchester City edge a tightly contested match of few chances. But the ongoing turmoil at Spurs, which saw Mourinho surprisingly sacked just days before that final and the club taking months to find his successor, had finally put Kane off. He was determined to leave, even reportedly skipping a training session to force a move to City. However, with 3 years still left on his contract, Levy refused to entertain any offers. And so, Kane returned to work, finishing the 2021-22 season under the guidance of Antonio Conte, another high-profile manager who also realized that using Kane solely as an out-and-out striker would be a waste of his talents. Amidst this, Kane became Spurs' all-time leading scorer, shattering a record previously thought unbreakable, as Jimmy Greaves had held that title with 268 goals for over 50 years. Despite this remarkable achievement, the only quote-unquote trophy Kane had to show for it was an Audi Cup. But by 2023, with only a year left on his contract, Kane finally had the leverage to push for a move away from Tottenham. Bayern had first expressed interest in autumn 2022, and after nearly a year of pursuit, they finally secured their man in August 2023 for a club record £85 million. For much of Kane's career, every aspect of his life revolved around Spurs. As such, his move to Bayern was about putting himself in the best position to succeed and compete for titles with the club that was a favorite, rather than a side striving to break into the conversation. After all, when Kane signed for Bayern, they had just clinched an unprecedented 11th successive Bundesliga title, marking the longest period of dominance in any of the top European leagues. And yet, despite the most prolific season of his career, in which he registered 44 goals and 12 assists in 45 games, that elusive trophy still slipped through his fingers as Bayer Leverkusen stormed unbeaten to the Bundesliga title in his first year in Germany. It was a disappointing title defense for the Bavarians. After remaining unbeaten in their first 12 Bundesliga games that season, they went on to lose 8 of their next 22 and ended up 18 points behind eventual champions Leverkusen. But even more damning was the fact that they finished third behind Stuttgart as well. On other fronts, Bayern exited the Champions League in the semi-finals and suffered one of the most humiliating defeats in their modern history with a DFB Pokal second-round exit to third-tier Saarbrücken. Little blame could be placed on Kane though, who set a new record with his 36 Bundesliga goals in a season. But the curse of Kane appeared to be alive and well, and it seemed only he could join the mighty Bayern and win nothing. Meanwhile, Kane's international career has been defined by his efforts to propel England further than they have ever gone in the modern era, only to look so burdened by the end of each tournament that he is unable to finish the job alone. In the 2018 World Cup, he faded towards the tournament's conclusion and was quiet when England lost the semi-final to Croatia. In Euro 2020, he started slowly before coming alive in the knockout stages, scoring a crucial goal against Germany, 2 against Ukraine, and the winner in the semi-final against Denmark. However, the final against Italy proved another game too far. It was perhaps no surprise that a similar pattern emerged at the Euros in Germany last year, where he never looked at his best in the group stages but got the extra-time winner against Slovakia in the round of 16 and equalized in the semi-final against the Netherlands. In between those tournaments, he is often, and rather unfortunately, remembered more for the penalty he missed against France in Qatar, which could have taken the quarterfinal to extra time, rather than the penalty he had scored earlier in the game. It is deeply unfortunate for Kane that of the 5 finals he has played for club and country, the only one where he looked at his sharpest was his first, At just 21 years old. While no one can reasonably blame him for being injured before a couple of these games, some may still hold these moments against him, overlooking the fact that Spurs and England often reach these moments thanks largely to Kane's contributions. Somehow, someway, 2024-25 had to be the year Kane breaks his curse. It just had to be. If he didn't get his hands on a trophy this time round, then he might have seriously needed to see a witch doctor to lift the curse from his body and soul. If the last few years have shown us anything, it is that Kane has a relentlessness towards winning. And while the Champions League and DFB Pokal eluded him again for the second year running, his determination finally led him to his first career trophy, the Bundesliga title. Kane deserves this more than anything. His 24 league goals so far are 5 more than anyone else in the Bundesliga this term, placing him on track to become the first player in the competition's history to win the top scorer award in each of his first 2 seasons. It wouldn't be going too far to say the entire footballing world is happy for Kane. Kane's entire career has been about redemption and proving doubters wrong. Fueled by rejection from an early age, starting with his release by Arsenal at 8 years old, the many goals he has scored over the years have silenced numerous naysayers. But without team silverware, there would always be more critics. His staunchest haters may argue that the Bundesliga is a one-team league, but against a Leverkusen side that went last season unbeaten domestically and having appointed the manager of a relegated Burnley side, this season's league triumph was far from a walk in the park for Bayern. If Kane retired trophyless, it would have remained a topic of conversation for the rest of his life. But no one really remembers how many cups you win after you up your tally from 0 to 1. With that hurdle cleared, Kane has now entered an upper echelon of greatness that knows no ceiling. With 694 appearances, 447 goals, and now 1 trophy, his career will no longer be defined by regret, but by opportunity in what comes next. A league title is a fantastic starting point, and while it's been a long time coming, the wait will surely make the glory that much sweeter. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.